Morning, guys. Welcome to the current affairs session. We will be discussing all of the important topics that are necessary for UPSC, be it prelims or be it mains. Today, we are going to discuss 24th June's paper, and let's see what's there in the newspaper and what are the things that we actually have to keep in mind for UPSC. First article says that center tightens norms for foreign contribution. Recently, the central government has made some regulations for the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act so that it can regulate all of the funds that are actually going to the NGOs. Now, what are the regulations that the center has done, and how are these regulations going to affect the particular NGO? What we are going to see. Firstly, when this particular regulation or the amendment has happened, NGOs did not have to prove anything. They only had to say that we are in the economic sector, we are in the religious sector, we are in the social sector. That is what they all had to do. But after the new regulations, there are some changes. Some changes have happened, and they're going to regulate everything. What are they going to regulate? They're going to regulate where the funds are going. Actually, funds are going right. Firstly, how the particular NGO is going to use its funds. Previously, it was only saying that we are a religious NGO, so we'll only be doing religious activities. Now the regulations are so tight that it is going to monitor each and every activity of that particular NGO. That is the first regulation. Second regulation is in which state or in which UT are they going to do these activities. Let's say there's an NGO that is saying that we are based in Telangana, but its activities are based in Mumbai. What does that mean? Maybe it's doing something fishy there. So that is the reason they came up with this particular regulation. Other than that, you have also firstly what is it? First is funds. Second is state, which state they're going, and thirdly, it is the usage of websites. All the websites and social media of that particular NGO are being monitored by the government. Okay. So first is the funds that actually go. Second is the state where they're doing. Third is the website or the social media. And fourth is all the books or the magazines, whatever they're going to release, they're going to check so that they're not against the government. Right? There's no bad things that are being circulated about the government or about citizens of India or maybe about the ecosystem of India. So that is what the FCRA regulations are. But obviously, whenever there are new regulations, there are new concerns as well. What are the concerns? Firstly, it is going to affect the small NGOs. Small NGOs are obviously trying to do some good. As they are trying to do something good, they cannot easily monitor everything. They cannot do everything. Right? They cannot show every activities. There are some small things that actually go over. So when all of these things are very small in nature and some attrition actually happens, but that's when what the small NGOs would be harmful. Right? First thing is that small NGOs would be hurt. Second thing is that it is too much burdensome. NGOs, what do NGOs do? NGOs do welfare. Their main ideology is to do welfare. So what they have to do, they'll only be focusing on activities. When you tighten the regulations like this, what will happen? They'll focus more on these. They'll focus more on what are the papers that we need, what are the papers that we need to show to the government, what are the activities, what are the areas that we are going to do, do we have permission there? So that way you're actually stifling the welfare. Think you're doing good, but it's not actually doing any good. It is only reducing the efficacy of that particular NGO. The first thing is that it is going to affect the small NGOs. Second thing is that it is going to be burdensome on all of the NGOs. And third thing is that this greater regulatory uh, function could obviously affect the regulation of some organizations, right? So that is what this article is saying. The article is saying that while the government says that we need transparency, we need accountability, we need uh, absolute information, absolute information about all of this. While you need all of this, but this is actually affecting the efficacy of that particular NGO. It is actually doing welfare to the people, which is your job. Whose job is it? Whose job is welfare? It's the government's job. As the government has a lot of burden, the NGOs are trying to do some good work. When the NGOs are trying to do some good work, how can you put more regulations and rules and make the efficacy of that particular NGO low? What is the use? What is the main aim there? There's no particular aim. But I understand. But still, we have to understand that there may be some NGO saying that we are doing welfare or we are doing good to the people while also not doing anything and just taking money. There might be some NGOs, but we cannot put some rules and regulations in such a way that it could affect all the NGOs. The government should come up with a mechanism or rules or regulations that would weed out these particular NGOs rather than putting burden on all the NGOs so that the ones that are actually not working properly are going off. That is not the right strategy. So that is all about the first article. Next, we have this particular editorial says reconnect. Is it reconnect public health with people's need? It's talking about wellness and public health. Recently, Government of India had talked about Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers. Right? Let's talk about Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers and also created a digital health mission. Now, this editorial is talking about how the efficacy of this particular missions or the efficiency of these particular missions is very low. And the reasons also it is mentioning. What is this mentioning? It's mentioning that while we have health policies, right, we are focusing a lot on slogans. You're saying Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers, digital health missions, right? These are the things that you're actually focusing on. But is it what we need? Do we need to focus on these slogans? Or do we need to focus on the physical infrastructure? This editorial shows how India's landscape in the medical ecosystem or the health ecosystem is not that good. Right? It shows how everything is haphazard and everything is not on the lines, but we are projecting it as something that is on the good lines. Right? That is what this particular editorial is saying. It's saying that India's health policy is increasingly emphasizing, right? It's saying that it is increasingly emphasizing wellness and digitalization instead of strengthening the public health care. And it's saying that it is focusing on public healthcare a lot rather than focusing on, I mean, it is focusing a lot on wellness and digitalization rather than focusing on public healthcare. Now, there are few points that actually show why it is very wrong or it is very problematic. Firstly, it says that the thing that should be the goal is universal healthcare. Universal healthcare should be the goal, no matter what, because at the end of the day, if you see countries like USA, France, or any other country which you go to, they're focusing a lot on health. As they're focusing a lot on health, what is happening? People are not worried about health anymore. They're worried about their work. They're worried about how how they can contribute to their family or how they can contribute to the economy. That is what they're being worried about. When health is the main issue, no one will focus on health. There is a saying: you have 99 problems as long as you're healthy, but you have only one problem if you're unhealthy, right? So that is one thing. Universal healthcare should be the goal. So for universal healthcare should for universal healthcare to happen or work properly, you need what? Hospitals, doctors, medicines, affordability. All of these are important for universal healthcare. So this particular editorial says that Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission and the Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers are not on those lists. Recently, government has created Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers. Good. It is a very good initiative saying that we are going to increase what you call the services that are going to be provided. But did the government create some new infrastructure? No, it only changed the name of all the centers, primary healthcare centers and community healthcare centers, then sub centers. It changed all these names to wellness centers. Does that do any good? Does that do any good? No, it is just changing the name from A to B. Just because you changed the name of apple to orange, right? Does that mean that it is not an apple anymore? No, it is the same. So just changing the name wouldn't change anything. If you have to bring an initiative to help people, you have to bring in more. You have to produce more. Are you producing more infrastructure? Are you producing more services? Are you producing more affordability? What are you producing? Just changing the name wouldn't do anything. The second thing, this is the second thing. And the third thing that this particular editorial is talking about is how wellness and healthcare both are different. Wellness and healthcare are both different. What is wellness? Wellness is something you called as being fit, being physically fit or being mentally fit, right? Eating healthy. These are all wellness. Doing yoga, doing meditation, all of these come under wellness. But what is healthcare? Healthcare is proper sanitation, proper medicines, proper care, proper diagnosis. All of this is healthcare. How can you just put wellness and not focus on healthcare? Just changing the name from wellness does not mean that you're focusing on healthcare. This is the second issue. And third issue is that wellness is a very subjective. Wellness is subjective. Now, what do I mean by wellness is subjective? Whenever we are talking about wellness, let's say I go to the gym. For me, wellness is gym. If I go to the gym, I'm well. There's an next person who's not going to the gym. That person might meditate. For that person, wellness is meditation. So there's no particular measure saying that this particular group of people are well or they are focusing on wellness. As there is no particular ideology or there's no particular framework, it is very hard to measure. If you are not measuring, then what is the reason for bringing wellness as a means? Right. First thing is that there is no particular measure. If there is no measure, then what is the reason? Right? What is the reason? What is the reason for creating it at all? Right? And this is the fourth aspect, I guess. Fourth. Is it fourth? Yes, fourth. And the fifth one is putting too much burden on the people. As a government of India, or as the ones protecting the citizens of India, you have to take the burden. You do not have to put the burden. You're saying eat properly, go to the gym, or be physically fit. It is putting burden on the people. People are paying taxes, people are contributing to the society so that you will take the burden, not that you would put the burden on people. Okay, so that is our second aspect, fifth aspect that it is actually worrying when it comes to this. Right? The third thing is that, the sixth thing is that government has created Ayushman Bharat Digital Health Mission. Right? In the digital health mission, what will the government do? The government will collect all the information regarding the insurance, regarding the history of that particular person's healthcare. It will collect all of the information. Yeah, it's a very good initiative. I understand, totally understand that it's a very good initiative. But what is that particular information used if there is no hospital, there is no doctors, there's no medicine in a particular village? This would tackle a problem in many urban areas. What about rural areas where there is no hospital, there's no road to a hospital? What about the villages in tribal areas where there is no particular amenities present? How is this digital mission going to be useful? Have has the government thought of it in a holistic manner? No. It has obviously some loopholes. Obviously, everything has a loophole. But how are you going to fix a loophole is the matter. Is the main thing that you have to think of. Right? That is the other reason. And lastly, the main thing is that infrastructure still remains a problem. Infrastructure. We do not have many hospitals. But what do we have? We have many doctors. While we have many doctors are still not being willing to work in government hospitals. They're saying that instead of working in a government hospital and earning less, you would rather work in a private hospital. You would rather do what you call a PG. I'll do a postgraduate. I'll work for 4 more years or 5 more years, and then I'll go into a private hospital, which will give me a lot of money so that I can have a beautiful life. It is okay. It is okay for the people or the doctors to think in that way, because obviously everyone has to survive. Everyone wants a beautiful life. Tell me one person who says that I don't want a beautiful life. I just want to live the way I am. No one says that. Everyone says that they want to live a happy and peaceful life. But the government should also take care, just like how it is taking care of the government servant, government, civil servants or the government officials. It should also take care of the doctors properly, give them necessary amenities so that they wouldn't think private hospitals are that attractive. Obviously, it is going to be burdensome, but at the end of the day, it is for the people. Right? It is for the people that you're doing, and as the people that are paying taxes and everything that is happening or running in the society or in the country is by the people. You have to do it for the people, right? So that is all about this particular editorial, right? It's talking about how Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission and Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers are something that are not on lines with our public health care. We should focus a lot on public health care, on how we have to bring in doctors, how we have to focus on a lot on sanitation, poverty, hunger, medicines. These are the things that we have to focus on, rather than focusing on just these slogans, right? Then you have India's next challenge from invention to global scale. Right? This particular editorial is talking about how India has done many inventions. India has done many inventions, but despite doing many inventions, it is not yet on a global scale. And the reason why it is not on a global scale is because, firstly, we have scientists, we have innovation, we have innovation, we have vision, we have engineers, we have all of this, but we lack ecosystem, we lack funding, we lack support from the government. As there's no uh, presence of these three, our presence in the global ecosystem is lacking. Obviously, at the end of the day, if you have potential, that is good. And if that potential is not supported by something, then that is wasted potential. This editorial is talking about how India has high amount of potential, but it is being wasted. It has given many examples. Right? We'll discuss some of the examples of what and how and why everything is not working. The first example that this particular editorial is talking about is semiconductor complex limited. It's talking about semiconductor complex limited. We know about semiconductors now, since the government has released a semiconductor outlay or semiconductor program or semiconductor manufacturing outlets. Right? We came to know about this only through this. If you are a engineer who has been specializing in AAA or what you call ECE, then you would have understood about these. Other than that, normally people wouldn't know about semiconductors. But the Semiconductor Complex Limited was brought in 1970. It was brought in 1970. It was not even now. It was long back when semiconductors were not even relevant. So there was a private limited or company that was actually present in the 1970s. But due to lack of innovation, I mean, lack of funding, lack of government support, lack of ecosystem, what happened? This did not work properly. At that time, the Taiwan chip manufacturing companies and also Samsung, what did they do? They manufactured semiconductors and they became global suppliers of semiconductors. If it wouldn't have been for the lack of support of government and lack of ecosystem, India would have been on the top. It's not like India did not have any vision. India had vision, but India did not have support. or the companies did not have support. So that is the first example that is particular editorial has given. The second example is that Electronic Corporation of India Limited. Electronic Electronic Corporation of India Limited, ECIL. It's talking about ECIL, which was established in 1967. Right? While it was established in 1967, it created indigenous computers, their control systems, and strategic embargoes. All of this it created. While it created all of this, it did not have obviously the same ecosystem. There's some strategic problems that it faced. Other than that, there is this particular company, right? This particular company is called Simputer. Simputer. Simputer came in 1998. Simputer came in 1998. Why Simputer came in 1998? What did Simputer do? Simputer predicted many of the features that we have on in our phones now. Said that there would be touch phones, there would be phones that we can talk from anywhere, there would be phones where we can use our internet, right? There would be phones which could be used as computers. Those are the features that Simputer actually predicted. While it predicted all of this, it did not have right amount of funding, web developers or application developers, all of these members who are actually necessary for the development of a particular phone were not there, as there was not any support from the government as well. It did not work properly. So if you actually see, India has high amount of innovation, India has high amount of vision, but it needs high amount of support. An ecosystem needs to be built. As long as there is no ecosystem, I don't think innovation or India's rank in the innovation index would be low, right? And other than that, it's saying that there are some success stories that India has actually done. What are the success stories? The first success story is the pharmaceutical industry. While India was not the innovator of semiconductors or not the first one to make high amount of phones, India is still a world-class supplier of pharmaceuticals. It supplies vaccines. It is the pharmacy of the world. It produces a lot of generic medicines. So India has made remarkable progress in pharmaceutical industries. Other than that, it has also built supercomputers like Param. It has also built UPI, which many countries are using now, right? And then you have Aadhaar, right? What are these? These are all innovations that India has done and which are very useful for India, right? Now, just like this, we also need an ecosystem where it is developing in terms of electronics, because this is the era of AI, and artificial intelligence can only be used through electronics. So India has to focus a lot on artificial intelligence or doing what? Solutions. Venture capital. Venture capital is the first class alternative investment fund. Second is what? Second is creating more R&D. R&D investment. Three, private partnership. These are the things that India has to do so that it can focus a lot on developing India's innovation and making it more progressive. Right? Those are the three things or the three editorials that we had to discuss today. Right? Hope you guys have learned a lot. Thank you guys. We'll see you in the next class.